Hey guys, so Talkris here, and I just wanted to show you guys one of the changes that they did with World of Warcraft. Now
Oh
that
yeah, Horde
patch
has
7,
quest here now.
that is amazing. That is a big change as well. There's only one though.
Yeah, it's to kill all three of them.
Oh, okay, cool. We'll see, that right there is new. There's a bunch of new changes that came out in patch 7.3.5, and one of the biggest changes has been dungeon scaling. So, well, like zone scaling in general. So you can now go through and actually complete the entirety of a questing zone without over leveling the questing zone and having to leave, which is amazing in and of itself. But then Blizzard took the time to go in and scale. Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, the tank pulled way too many for the scale.
Yep. And scaled all the dungeons. And,
Our healer doesn't really look like he's healing.
I got. And, what that means is all the level 1 through 60 dungeons can now be queued up for, as you level up, but you won't out-level a dungeon. So, like, Stockades here, we're level 21, I believe? Oh, God. I believe we're level 21, and we got Stockades now, but we could be level 50, and we could also get Stockades. Let me see, we have a 22, a 23, a 25, and then we have a 30. And let me actually show you guys what it is that I'm talking about inside of the... See? 15 to 60, 20 to 60. So these dungeons will stay with us until we hit level 60, which is great for leveling up through dungeons because it means that now, once you've hit the certain level requirement for a dungeon, you can get that dungeon all the way up until level 60. All the way through that expansion. Now, what I'm hoping is going to happen in the future because of this change is I'm hoping that Blizzard will go through and they'll do all of the dungeons that they currently have in the game that they have scaled up, and they'll make them all mythic. So maybe sometime during Battle for Azeroth or sometime during the next expansion, whatever that may be, we'll get every single dungeon in the game as a mythic or heroic dungeon.
Yeah, that would be cool, having every single dungeon in the game as a heroic or a mythic.
Now, the reason that that would be great is because it would mean that there would literally be no limit to what you could do as far as mythic keystones are. There would be no limit to how many mythics you could do a week to get loot. There'd really be no limitations on what dungeons you had to do. You could be an Alliance character. You could say, you know what, I'm in Stormwind. Let me do a mythic stockade. Or... you could be in...
Or just do a mythic Ragefire.
Yeah! And that would be amazing. I'm just saying it right now. Mythic Ragefire Chasms would be the shit. There are a lot of possibilities and a lot of ways that Blizzard can take this system that they've just implemented and turn it into something amazing. Mechanics might be a little bit difficult to work out. Like, it might be a little bit of a problem to kind of boost those mechanics to the difficulty that you would be looking for a mythic dungeon. But at the same time, I really don't think that Blizzard would have too hard of a time doing that. Once they've gotten the scaling down, they wouldn't have to worry about adjusting it until the next expansion. And generally, they have a full team of developers working on the expansion anyway, so I mean, it would be a really nice thing that Blizzard could do that would increase the run time of each expansion. It'd be great to have, let's see, I'm gonna say 60 or 70 dungeons, and it would make the time walking system kind of obsolete. And I can understand how that would be a problem. But what I think Blizzard could do, as far as...
make time walking for raids.
That is exactly what I was going to say. what I think Blizzard... Oh, hey, look, one of the random queued people is in our group. Like, in our guild.
Huh.
Yeah, I just noticed. It's a guild run, technically. Now, what I think that would do is, yeah, they could do time walking as raid events. And instead of having to do 5 time walking dungeons, you could just have a quest to do 1 time walking raid. And you'd get an ass load of time walking badges per boss, or just for completing the time walker. Now that would let us keep the time walking system. It would give Blizzard more time to work on bringing us like ICC time walking, or Siege of Orgrimmar time walking would be really cool. It would just give them more time to bring time walking raids to us and give us some really difficult content to go with it. And it would also, in my opinion, make the time walking events that much better, because it would be a raid. It wouldn't be an, oh, I've got to do a grind of all these dungeons again.
Yeah, I didn't really like doing the dungeons too much. When the Black Temple raid came out, that was my fucking
so
thing.
Amazing. And
that is all I wanted to do. I said, fuck the dungeons, I want the raid.
And I think that that's the kind of system that Blizzard should be going for. With the changes that they've implemented, especially if they're going to be doing another item squish, they should go through, scale all of the older content, all of the older dungeons to be mythic dungeons. Completely revamp the time walking system and make it a raid exclusive thing. And it would, like I said, it would just really increase the play value of the game and of the expansions. I think as a closing thought for this discussion here that we're having, I think that Blizzard should make this system run all the way through the entirety of the game. And when I say that, I mean that I'm leveling up. I've now hit level 60, and the original dungeons are no longer available, but now I have Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. What I think that they should do is, instead of implementing it that way, they should keep the 1 to 60, or sorry, the 15 to 60 dungeons. You should still have all of those dungeons as you are leveling up. And I understand that, again, it would be a little bit difficult to do a rework that high, but it would mean that, like, going into Warlords of Draenor, you wouldn't have just the minuscule amount of dungeons that Warlords of Draenor had. Or going into Legion, you wouldn't have just the Legion dungeons, but in fact every single dungeon throughout the entirety of the game to play through. So when you do a random dungeon queue and you're going for that experience, you could literally get any dungeon in the game. And I think that that is the kind of system that Blizzard should work on. That's the kind of system that Blizzard should focus for, is to make a system where there's really, I guess I'm gonna go for this because it sells for more. And that's the kind of system that Blizzard should go for, is a system where, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the group, you can do every single dungeon in the game as you've approached the level to be able to do the dungeon. Blizzard, just listen to what I'm saying. Do it. It would be amazing. Alright, so thank you all very much for joining us for this discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. A link to the Patreon will be in the description below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!